What is going on, StreamYard community? I hope that you have had an awesome time since we last spoke. Today, we are going to be talking about how to come up with unlimited ideas for your live streaming content, for your video content. Technically, you can even use this information for blog posts and things like that as well if you're a blogger. But basically, if you're somebody that makes content on a regular basis, you probably already know the struggle of, getting to a certain point to where when you first start out, your just brain's exploding with all of these ideas on, hey, these are all of these different things that I can do. These videos would be awesome to make. I can do all these. But eventually, those ideas might get a little bit dry, or you just might run through them all, and you might run into a situation where you are either at a point of, what is it called, like writer's block, which in our case, I guess it would be creator's block. But, you come to a point to where, it starts getting a little bit difficult to come up with, ideas that you are inspired to make, or ideas that are of value to the people that you are reaching with the content that you're putting out. Again, and it doesn't matter if it's live streams, video content, blogs, anything that you're putting out there, making content that people are actively interested in is important, and I'm going to show you how to find that out here in a second, but also just having an endless amount of ideas for the type of content that you can make is going to ensure that from right now, by the time the stream is finished, that from that point all the way until the end of your content creation career or efforts or, whatever approach it is that you're taking, that you are going to have video ideas for the content that you are making. So because of that, we are just going to go ahead and we're just going to jump right into it so I can start showing you, things that you can do to come up with some great video ideas. So the very first thing at the very top of this list, how many people here, out of the people that are watching right now, how many people are familiar with YouTube Autocomplete? Just give me a hashtag me if you are familiar with it. If you're not, no big deal. But basically what YouTube Autocomplete is at the very top of YouTube, and I'm going to pull up the page right here so I can show you. But at the very top of YouTube, there is a search bar. So, all of us that make content about YouTube and talk about YouTube on a regular basis and all that good stuff, we mentioned the autocomplete in the search bar all the time because for us, that's just, one of the ways that people find content. And that's one of the ways or one of the things that we can use for people to make content to help people discover us on YouTube. So that box right up here, just in case you're not familiar with it, because I've had comments where people say that they are not familiar with it. And we actually have somebody here in the chat as well saying that they are not. So basically the autocomplete comes out of the YouTube search bar, which is right up here at the top of the screen. And basically what autocomplete means is as you are going through your content, one of the things that's going to happen, as you start putting things into search, is YouTube is going to autocomplete and give you suggestions. So if you just start typing something, which I'm going to show you right here in a second, but if you just start typing something, YouTube is going to auto-complete the phrase that you are typing out based on things that people typically type into YouTube search. So because of that, if you start digging into this, and this is just one of the ways, we got 10 of these, but if you start digging into this, then you are going to start coming up with some great ideas around the type of content that you make. So right out of the gate, I'm just going to try and see if I can clearly see what type of content somebody makes here in the chat, and I can't from the username. We'll do Pokemon because we have Pokemon Dimes, okay? Now, what I'm getting ready to show you here, this applies. It doesn't matter if you're making marketing content, if you're doing how-to content, if you are doing gaming content, if you are doing anything, even motivational content, inspirational content, any type of content that you are making, this will apply to you, and so will the other nine that I'm going to be sharing with you. So the very first thing that we're going to do is right up here at the very top. I'm just going to zoom in on this for you so that you can, make sure that you see what happens. But right up here at the very top, I'm just going to start typing in Pokemon, right? And you're going to see as we continue to do this, right here, right out of the gate, it's auto-completing when I just put Pokemon. It's auto-completing different things that people are looking for around Pokemon. And you might look at this list and be like, hey, Nick, what is going on? This isn't an exhaustive list. You're sitting here telling us we're going to come up with unlimited video ideas. Like, what's going on? First, we've got 9 more. But second is this isn't where you stop. So this is just like one word, right? So from here, this is just giving us a general idea that we can start exploring and uncovering ways that people are looking for the type of content that we make, so we can make content that serves those people, which will help us get discovered on YouTube. And it just makes sure that we're making content that people actually care about. So the next thing I'm going to do here is we are just going to put an A. after Pokemon here. And now we're going to see that it's giving us all of these other things: Pokemon Art, Adventures Red Chapter, Pokemon All Episodes, Pokemon Animation, Among Us, Ash Gray. We're going to go back this up one, and I'm going to hit B. And now we have Brilliant Diamond, Bank, Brick Zone, Black and White, OST, whatever that is. I'm not a Pokemon person. I'm just using this because somebody in the chat here, has the Pokemon name. But then we have, Pokemon Battle, Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, Bronze 2021. But then, as you keep going through this, and I'm not going to go through the whole alphabet, and we're going to do this on a few different things so that you get the idea. But as we go through this, every time we remove the letter of the alphabet and we put the next one on the list, we're getting, a lot more ideas from that. Now, if we were to take this farther, let's say that we were going to do let's say we have a cooking channel, and we're like, okay, what are we going to make videos about? What do people care about when it comes to cooking? So let's do how to cook. And then here we're going to see, hey, how to cook steak, how to cook asparagus, how to cook spaghetti, chop suey, how to cook salmon, and then we do the same exact thing. A, and then we see all the things people are interested in cooking with A. B, broccoli, bico, barani, banana Q, beef steak, C, and then we keep going through this list, and then we get, a similar thing happening there to where it's like, hey, now we can start digging in and say like, hey, these are things that people are trying to learn how to cook. So if I have a cooking channel and I'm teaching people how to cook different things, YouTube is telling me right here, like, these are things that people are wanting to know how to cook. Now, let's say that if you are teaching people, and I'm just going to look at the YouTube home screen right here, and we will do Final Cut, right? Let's say that Kevin here, who is on the StreamYard channel quite a bit, actually, let's say that Kevin, in this situation, he's showing Final Cut. So here I would do that same exact thing. And if I wanted to make a video about Final Cut Pro, because that was the type of content I was making, then here we can see a bunch of things that people are looking for around Final Cut Pro. If we do the A, same exact thing, do B, same exact thing, C, same thing, D, and so on. You just keep going through that. And the more you go through it, the more things that you're going to start to uncover that people are looking for around the type of content that you make. Now, what's cool is if we start here with Final Cut Pro, right? And we see Final Cut Pro tutorial, effects, Pro X, all of that. Well, what happens if we do like how to Final Cut Pro? Boom. So now we have, multicam editing tutorial, how to Final Cut Pro effects, how to color grade in Final Cut Pro, how to edit in Final Cut Pro, and so on. Let's do StreamYard. Let's see what people are looking for with StreamYard. Save me some research time later. Let's see what people are looking for with StreamYard. So here we've got, StreamYard tutorial, StreamYard Facebook Live, StreamYard YouTube Live, StreamYard versus OBS, StreamYard overlay, StreamYard reviews, StreamYard to Zoom. And this tells us that these are all things that people are looking for, like how to use StreamYard with all these different things. And then same thing applies. Anybody that's having StreamYard audio issues, if you had a video, which StreamYard does, about how to overcome some audio issues, then, when you type that in, then that's going to tell you, hey, people are looking for how to solve this problem. Audio settings, app for Android, and so on. And we just keep on rolling through this with the same exact idea. And you can see it just keeps giving us, tons of information. And the same thing applies, how to StreamYard Facebook Live, how to StreamYard to YouTube, how to StreamYard Google Meet, and so on. What's up, Brandon Sparks? Hope that you're doing awesome, man. But basically the idea here is, and keep in mind, if you're just joining us, I'm showing you 10 different ways to come up with unlimited video ideas for the type of content that you make, and we're just at number 1 right now. But the idea here is that when you start doing this, then it starts uncovering based around the type of content that you make. And if you're watching this on a computer, you can even pop open a new window and follow along with the type of content that you make through some of these ideas. So I can show you how to uncover this if you want to, follow along with the stream here. But here, you can also do, let's say if we do like a when, no, that one's not going to work. Let's see here, how to, why, nope. Oops, learn how to spell Y there. Okay, so people aren't looking for that, but a lot of how-to stuff, right? How to use StreamYard, how to use StreamYard on Facebook, YouTube, and so on. But that gives us the idea in terms of YouTube autocomplete. Now, another thing that you can do if you're wanting to fine-tune that, if we went back to the Final Cut Pro example, and let's say we just did Final Cut Pro tutorial, and we put that in. Another thing that's really cool here is on YouTube side, they'll show us the results and it'll give us just an indicator of some other videos that people have made. And one thing that I really recommend, so this is just a little side bonus tip for you. If you are live streaming or making video content for YouTube, it's really advantageous that when you do figure out what it is that you're going to go after here in terms of the topic for your video, that you do look at those search results and you get an idea of the people that you're competing against, how long the videos are, what it is they're doing with their thumbnails, and how they're being compelling in their titles, so that as you're putting all of this stuff together, you're like, hey, here's a big list of ideas. Then you can start working on, how to make each one compelling and how you can actually use that to stand out, your compelling elements to stand out against the people that are already showing up for search for those specific things. So that's just a little side tip for you there. Now, the next thing, that's YouTube search. Okay, so number 2 on our list. And really quick, I just want to let you know that there is also going to be Q&A after this. So if any of the stuff that I'm talking about, if you want to, dig deeper on it, or if you have any questions about it, definitely let me know once we get into the Q&A part of the stream today. But the next thing that we're going to go to here is Google. And I'm going to blow through this one really quick because it's very similar to what we just did with YouTube. So here, same exact thing. You can see here, I've already got how to cook a cake in here. So if we do how to cook, then what this is going to show us is Google's version, what people are looking for on Google. Now, another side tip when it comes to capitalizing on all of this possible traffic that you can get, if you are making content for YouTube, it's also important that if you are, coming up with ideas for things and you're using this method, that by including these phrases in the titles of the videos that you're putting together, let me turn off this macro real quick that keeps switching my camera. But if you are, there we go. If you are making content for YouTube and you include these phrases in terms of the exact way that people are looking for them, this will also help you show up on YouTube in front of the right people as well. So the idea is to use a keyword or a phrase, but also to make sure that you add something compelling to the title itself and or the thumbnail that will, help grab attention for those people that you're trying to reach as well. But when it comes to all the different options that you have for traffic, you have the YouTube traffic, but one of the strongest external sources for YouTube is Google, which means a lot of YouTube traffic also comes from Google. So as an example, if we did how to cook, we do how to cook a cake. Let's do a chocolate cake. Okay, so how to cook a chocolate cake, right? And then here you can see there's video results. So one little side tip here, so I'm sprinkling in some video ideas with some YouTube tips here as well, right? But basically when you're coming up with your live streaming ideas, and I'm just using the cake one here as an example, but another thing that you can do is if you scroll down the page, you'll see that Google is showing you these things based on what it is that people typically respond to on Google. So up here at the top, recipes, that sort of thing is what people are looking for. So they're showing that sort of thing up here at the top. But if you scroll down, they also show video results. So if you see one of the, when you're doing this type of, research coming up with video ideas and you're thinking of the right videos to make, if you see video results here, that means that if you optimize your video and people positively respond to your video compared to the other videos here, that you can also show up here in Google and pull traffic from Google as well as pulling traffic from all the different all the different surfaces on YouTube as well. Okay, so when you are using Google for that, one, you put the actual term that you're putting in here, but if you scroll down, you're also going to see where they have the people ask section. How do you make chocolate cake from scratch? Bam, video idea. How do you bake a cake step by step? Bam, video idea. How to bake a cake with chocolate? Video idea. How long to bake a cake in the oven? You could make an entire video about how long it takes to bake different things, if you wanted to, just a quick informational video, if you were making food type of content. But another really cool thing with Google is if you scroll all the way down here to the bottom of the page, let me show you this real quick. They also show you additional ways that people are looking for the idea that you put up in the very top of the search bar as well. So what's cool is you can start clicking into these and let's say simple moist chocolate cake recipe. Let's click into that one. And then you can see, different ideas based around that, which is really, really cool and will help you just continually keep coming up with video ideas. So YouTube search is number 1 on our list. Google search is number 2 on the list, is actually, starting to type in, let's say we did, what type of content do you make? Let me know in the chat, because maybe I can do this just directly for, somebody that's right here in the chat, or maybe I can mix it up between the different people in the chat here. So let me know what type of content that you make. So while I'm waiting for that to come in, the next thing guitar. Perfect. Okay, so if you're doing guitar, then in that situation, I'll just do guitar. And then within this, if you are, teaching people how to play guitar, for example, then another thing that you can do here is that, okay, if somebody's looking for information around guitar, they're probably looking for like tips or tricks or learning or, step-by-step or tutorials, things like that. So you can also include those in your search as well. So, guitar tips for beginners, for example, right? Guitar tips for small hands. I would have never even imagined to make a video on that. You probably have like a whole series on that. I don't know. But me, I would have never thought to make a guitar tips for small hands video. But guitar tips for intermediate players, short fingers for older beginners, because, it's a different approach. For fat fingers, guitar tips pro. But in this situation, let's just do how to play guitar. Here we've got for beginners, chords with long nails. Fantastic. See, that's another one. It's odd, right? It's like an odd one to where it's like, oh yeah, I never really thought people might be looking for that. How to play guitar for kids, small hands, and sing at the same time. And then the same thing applies. We're going to put an A, just in case you're just joining us. I'm going to go through this concept again, just because I showed it when we were talking about YouTube. But if you put an A right here, then it's going to show you, how it continues the auto suggestion with A. So here, how to do guitar and sing at the same time, how to play guitar app, how to play guitar acoustic, how to play guitar along with songs, how to play guitar amp through headphones. Back it up, go with B. Same exact thing, how to play guitar by ear, better, basics, by ear on Reddit, bar chords, boogie. C, see what comes up here, chords for beginners, a lot of that. Chords there, go to D, but you get the idea. So basically you just keep going through the alphabet and you just start restructuring, and you do the same thing on YouTube, just in case you're just joining us, and you can watch that one on the replay because that was the first one that we went through, but you can keep restructuring this. So you can do playing guitar with long nails, small hands for beginners in Spanish, reference, left-handed pose reference, and then we're gonna do an A, after carpal tunnel surgery, right? So if you're somebody that's went through that experience, or you are somebody that, makes content, where you are helping people with guitar, making a video about how to play guitar after carpal tunnel surgery, because I'm sure a lot of people are in that situation, that can lead you to be able to tap into that audience of people that are trying to learn how to play after carpal tunnel surgery. And you can be the solution that's going to help them figure out how to do that, how to play guitar and harmonic at the same time. But you get the idea, right? So all you do is you just keep shuffling around on YouTube and in Google different ways that people might be searching for it up here. So I'm just going to go one here really quick, and we will just do by ear. And then we are going to scroll down the page. So this is another one to where you see that there's video ideas. So this would be one like, yeah, I'm going to go after this because it's showing video search results. So I'm going after that. And then again, is it hard to play guitar by ear? Can you learn by ear? What does it mean to play an instrument by ear? Is playing by ear a gift? So what does it mean to play an instrument by ear? That can also be an informational piece of content that will help you get in front of more people that are just curious, like, hey, what does it mean to play an instrument by ear? And you might be able to open them up to a whole new world of playing instruments that they never even, realized was there by showing them exactly how to, play it by ear. But another thing that's cool using Google is as we start scrolling down, you also see different titles that people are clicking on, right? So people are clicking on these, they're staying on these pages for a long period of time, plus the pages themselves have authority, but this can also just give you ideas for titles as well, titles that you can, be inspired by, so that you can also, use that as just kind of fuel for your research when you're coming up with video ideas like, yeah, I want to make these videos. These are some good titles that other people were using. These are some different, compelling ways that people were titling them on Google, different ways that people were titling them on YouTube, and so on. And then same exact thing here. If we scroll down to the bottom, then we're also going to see here different ways that people are looking for it, and you get to see some compelling stuff as well. So here we have play guitar by ear in 1 hour, right? So in that situation, they're showing people, or people are trying to figure out how to do that quickly, and this lets you know that people are actively looking for how do I play guitar by ear in 1 hour. So then you can make a video about that, showing people your best tips for teaching people how to play guitar by ear in 1 hour. So that's Google. Okay. So if you're just joining us, what we are doing right now is we're talking about how to come up with unlimited ideas for your content. It doesn't matter if you're a live streamer, if you're a video content creator, or if you're a blogger, or all of the above. the things that we're going through today, this is only number 2. We've got 8 more to go. But the things that we're going through today are how to come up with ideas using free tools that are currently available to you. Next one on the list is Google Trends. Now, who here is familiar with Google Trends? And there's a delay here, so I'll just let that go while I just continue to go in here. But basically, if you're not familiar with Google Trends, in order to get to it, you go to trends.google.com. And I don't think that will expand. No, it won't. So you go to trends.google.com. And then what this is going to show you is this is going to show you all of the things that are trending right now around the world or per the location that you select. So as we can see, right now there's a 200,000 plus surge in searches for Ethereum price, for Bill Gates, since apparently I guess he's getting divorced now, for Jimmy Carter. We have an increase. We got Dogecoin, 500,000 increase in searches. And then if we click on the more trending searches, this right here, and keep in mind, mine is set to Thailand because that's where I'm broadcasting from. But if I switch this over to United States, then in that case, as we start scrolling down the list here, these are things that, that have a heightened amount of interest right now. So one thing that I do is I actually have this on a tab. So when I open up my browsers, and you can do this in Google Chrome, to where, I have a bunch of different things that open automatically when I open my browser. And one of those things is YouTube Trends because, I have a lot of friends that are YouTubers. I'm a YouTuber. I have people that I work with that are YouTubers. So because of that, I use this as a, oh, hey, I noticed this, and then I'll shoot the idea over to somebody to let them know that that's something that's trending if it's something that they, would be of, that applies to the content that they're making. But basically, there's that part of it. But another thing that's really cool here is if you go up to the top for the Explore Topics, let's see what happens with guitar. I'm really curious, but I'm going to put in guitar here. And then we are going to scroll down and we see some notable people. Keep in mind, this is currently set to United States searches on the web. This is Google in the past 12 months and in all categories for guitar. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to take it down to, let's say, the last 7 days. You know what? Actually, let's do the past 90 days, just so that we can see, more information here, so I can show you some more info too. But basically, as we are scrolling down here, you can see where it shows you the different increases. Now, what you want to make sure that you are looking for, because I spread this down to 90 days, but if you are using this for video ideas, you want to make sure that as you are looking at this, that you start fine tuning it down to something that's a little bit more recent. But you can also see historical data here, which can be really, really helpful. One way that it can be really helpful, and I'll show you right here, is in the example, let's see here, acoustic guitar tips. We'll do this, and then we will do pretty low, electric guitar. Let's just do electric guitar and acoustic guitar. So more research, of course, would be needed. But one thing that you can do here as well is you can also start fine-tuning the stuff that you're making around the interest that people have over it. Historically, you can also see seasonality here. So if you take this to like a year view, then you'll see, like spikes and dips and all of that based around the different things that you search. For acoustic guitar and electric guitar, probably not. But if you look for anything like cooking, if you're looking for like how to cook a turkey, let's just do it. I'll do it after this, just help me remember. But if you look for how to cook a turkey, I'm gonna guess that there's spikes around holidays for cooking a turkey. But as we go down here, then you can see here that related queries to the guitar stuff, we've got, acoustic guitar forum, best acoustic guitar brands. Bam, there's a video idea. So people are looking around for best acoustic guitar brands. So they could find you on YouTube that way. They could also find you on Google that way if you talked about acoustic guitar brands. Parts of an electric guitar, if you wanted to make a informational video for some reason, that one is spiking, or at least it was in the last 90 days. Electric guitar tuners, first act electric guitar strings, and so on. And of course, you can also, if we go down here to the bottom, you can sift through the pages as well. And another thing, just since I like giving side tips as well, because we're talking about how to come up with unlimited video ideas, but I also want to share with you some additional information that might also be helpful for you. So if you've been in a situation where you are making content and you think to yourself, I wonder if people are looking for it this way or if people are looking for it this way. This is a great way to help you uncover it. So one example I like to give here is with the type of content I make. I talk a lot about TubeBuddy, right? So when I'm titling my videos, I can see here that TubeBuddy as one word typically is what people look for more than it being separate. Now, keep in mind, this is just a minor detail. YouTube's smart enough to know the difference. But what I like to do as a content creator, somebody that is trying to resonate, and we're going to get back to the screen right here in a second, but what I try to do is I try to resonate with the ways that people might be looking for something and make sure that I'm in alignment as much as I possibly can be with the masses. So for example, here in that TubeBuddy example, Tube space buddy versus TubeBuddy is one word. If people are looking for it more as TubeBuddy with one word, that means they're thinking about it more as TubeBuddy with one word, which means that when I'm writing my titles, I need to do it in the way that more people are thinking about it so that it resonates with them when they actually see it written that way as well, right? So really, really helpful when you are coming up like, hey, are people looking for how to cook a cake, how to bake a cake? We know the answer to that. But, are people looking for it this way? Are they looking for it this way? Once you do come up with that video idea, this really helps you, figure out the right ways to, optimize everything to make sure that you are, doing it for how people are looking for it. Now, another thing that I want to bring to your attention is that was just web search. Now, if you choose this drop down right here, and I'll actually zoom in on this so you can see where it's at, in case you happen to be watching on a mobile device. But if we go here to web search, and then we go down here to Google or YouTube search, and then we're going to zoom back out, boom. Then you can see here, it's actually shifted since I looked at this last time, which has been quite some time. But on YouTube, people are now starting to look for it as 2 words instead of the 1 word, which is now new information to me as I'm looking at this right now, which is a little unnerving, but hey, that's okay. But basically, this shows me on YouTube how people are looking for those specific things. But if we go back to that example on the guitar, then one of the things that we're going to see here, let me take both of these out really quick. If we go back to the guitar, let's just do how to play guitar for fun. One thing that's cool here is you can also look for historical data. So let's say that we're just going to do past 12 months. You can be like, okay, hey, people were really looking for it, at the beginning of the year around this time. We all know why. But, now it's starting to taper off a little bit. So because of that, maybe I want to, make a video on something else right now, wait for this to, start to lift back up, or I'm just going to stretch this out for a longer period of time and just see if that rate, oh no, it's actually just been, dropping over time, which is just something to be mindful of if you are somebody that's teaching people how to make guitar or how to do guitar, or you are somebody that's saying like, hey, I want to start a channel on, on how to make guitar. This is a really good way to, start determining the channels that you want to go after too. And I'm not saying don't make content on guitar. I'm just saying that if you're trying to get in front of as many people as humanly possible, that you want to take, information like this into mind. But more importantly, as we start scrolling down the page, you're going to see here, if we break this down to 90 days again, then we have the same exact thing when we're talking about guitar, how to play New Boyfriend on guitar. Not sure what that is. I'm guessing it's a popular song, but if you're somebody that does covers or teaches people about guitar, then this would be one possible topic for you that's currently on Breakout that you could make that content about. But of course, you would also want to define this down to the past like 7 days, maybe even a day if you're trying to hop on trends. But if you're using this just for ideas, then you can use this sort of thing to just make content that you are proving through the information that this is kicking back to you that people are actually interested in. Okay. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about, first one, of course, was YouTube search for the autocomplete. Then we went to Google search for the autocomplete, and then we did Google Trends. Now, the next ones, these are going to be more conversational until we get to another one. So the next 2 are conversational. Then I'm going to show you another tool. So the next one, of course, that we all know about is your own comment section. So as a content creator, it's really easy for us to just get caught up in like, hey, I'm just interacting here and not really pay a ton of attention to the questions people are asking, or not actually asking the people that are interacting with our video content or our live stream content what they think or what they want from us. So one thing that you can do is you can ask people in your video content or your live streams, because they can do it on the replay as well. Ask them, hey, if you have a video that you would like to see on the channel, let me know. Let me know in the comments. Or if you have a community post, you can say, hey, I'm putting my next few weeks of content together. If you have a video you'd love to see on the channel, then let me know in the comments of this post post what that content, what it is that you want to see. And you basically start polling and interacting with your community to start pulling from them exactly what it is that they care about. I do this on my YouTube channel. I have a series that I actually need to make a video for here soon for my subscriber Q&A series is what I call it. And basically for that series, what I do is I make a community post on my YouTube channel and I say, hey, I'm putting, I'm making another video for this series. Drop your questions here about what it is that you're doing on YouTube, any questions that you have about YouTube. And if it's a good question, then, I might put it in the video. So what I do is then I'll use all of those comments that come in about, the struggles that people are having with YouTube. And not only will I use the topic itself, but I'll take the actual comment that will be embedded in the video. And I'll make sure that when I'm titling the video, that I'm titling the video in the language that the person is using to ask me the question. Because the people that I'm trying to reach, again, I want to make sure that I'm resonating with them as much as possible. And if somebody's asking that question a certain way, then if I can title the video in that way, still include a keyword or keyword phrase, then that allows me to be able to communicate through the title in a way that a viewer interacts with my content, and in a way that viewer has a question about, what it is that they're doing as well, so that I can just nail it with that. So using your own comments and your community polls and actually trying to generate that engagement, hey, if you have a video that you would just love to see me make, put it down in the comments, and you can use that as kind of a way. Now, another thing, of course, is the comments and community posts of competitors. So if you say you don't have a community post yet or a community feed yet, and let's say that you're still working towards getting a community feed and you just don't have it yet. Let's say you don't have a lot of comments coming in. Let's say you're just getting started on your YouTube channel, and when you go live, you have 3 people in there and they're not interacting that much. And because of that, you don't get a lot of direct feedback. What do you do then, right? If you can't ask your community? Well, you can watch other people's live streams and see the things that are being asked there, people who make content like yours. You can also go and look at their community feeds, look at their comments, and see the questions that people are asking there. Because here's the thing. I've been making videos for YouTube and live streaming on YouTube since September of 2014. September 2014 for videos, live streaming since somewhere around 2015. And during that particular time, people ask tons and tons of questions, but I've also not had time and just the energy to make answers to every single question that somebody could possibly have. Therefore, my comment section is a goldmine of unanswered questions. So I do everything that I can to get to some of those. I've got a podcast for it as well, so I can, get to some of those questions. And I answer a lot during live streams also, but I don't get to every single question. So because of that, in the example of the guitar channel, if you are making, content around guitars, then in that situation, one of the things that you can do is you can go to all the different guitar channels, all the different channels that teach guitar and all of that, and just start looking through their comment sections, community posts, because people will be asking those people questions. And when they do, that gives you the opportunity to be able to tap into those questions for the content that you are going to make on your channel, or at least to be inspired by the content or the questions that they have to make the content for your channel. Now, another thing that I want to show you here, when we were looking and this is number 6. So when we were looking through YouTube and looking through Google, one of the things that you might have seen is this section right over here. Oh, there we go. One of the things that you might have seen is this section right over here, where it says related keywords. People also search for long tail keywords. I'm going to circle this really quick just so you know exactly what it is I'm talking about. This area right over here. Okay. So when you are doing this research that I was talking about before on Google, and you're just putting things in and you're letting the autocomplete kind of figure it out, if you just hit go on one of those, you just hit search, then there's a tool called Keywords Everywhere is the name of the tool. And they have, I think they have a limited free version, and then they have a version that only charges when you actually use it. But basically with Keywords Everywhere, it will give you different ways that people are looking for that. Now, some of it, as you can see here, by the related keywords, some of it is what is pulled from down here. So not that big of a deal. But the other things that they do though, as I scroll up here, is they also give you different long tail keywords. And what those are things that are more specific. So if in the search engine world or on YouTube, or if you're just trying to get your videos in front of people on Google or YouTube, one of the things that's advantageous, like we were talking about earlier, is that if you do make some of your content, it doesn't have to be all of it, but if you make some of your content that is targeted for search, as long as your content type supports it, and by doing that, you can use this here, to where, there's the keywords, but then there's also the other things that people search for here, but then there's also the long tail keywords. So the difference is you have a keyword, which is one word, which in this case, I guess would be guitar. And then you have a keyword phrase, which would be how to play guitar. And then you have a long tail keyword phrase, which just the examples that we gave here would be, it would be like how to play guitar by ear. Like how to play guitar by ear would be a long tail. But in this case, we have playing guitar by ear exercises, playing guitar by ear versus reading music, playing guitar by ear meaning, understanding the guitar fretboard, and playing by ear, right? Like the understanding the guitar fretboard and playing by ear, it's something that probably would have never just come out of a brain organically, right? So because of that, showing from the content creator side, right? So seeing those types of things, not only can you take that as a literal thing, like, hey, I'm going to make a video about this, but you can also just take these things as inspiration to where it's like, hey, people are looking for this. And since I know my audience better than everybody else, then how would my audience respond to some of this? And how could I put this together in a way and just use this for inspiration? What can I put together in a way, or what could I put together and put it together in a way that would be a good fit for the people that I'm trying to reach, right? So by doing that, that will make it really, really easy for you to use this tool, Keywords Everywhere, to help you come up with ideas as well. Kids Fun World says, I really need that ideas. Would the stream be available to watch from beginning that I missed? Yes. Yeah, so Kids Fun World. So what you want to do is after the stream is finished is you want to start at the very beginning. We talk about how to use YouTube Autocomplete, and I talk a little about some little side tips there that will help you with YouTube. We talk about how to use Google Autocomplete, and I give you some side tips there as well. We talk about how to use Google Trends. We talk about, of course, your own comments and using the comments and community posts of your competitors or people who make content like you. And we talked about Keywords Everywhere. Now, another thing, and I'm just going to go through this one quick because, again, I talk about it a lot, but another thing that you can use, and I can't do it right now because I'm logged into the YouTube channel of StreamYard, but there's a tool as well called TubeBuddy. If you just go to TubeBuddy.com, or if you want to give me an affiliate commission, TubeBuddy.com/Nimmin. But basically, with TubeBuddy, they have something called a Keyword Explorer. And with the Keyword Explorer, you can do a similar thing that I'm showing you how to do using YouTube and Google and all of that, but you just do it within their tool, and then they do all the heavy lifting for you in terms of, kicking back all these different results and different ways people are looking for it. And they also give you a score based on your optimization, like based on your channel and how your channel can compete for that term based on how you're optimizing for that specific term and the other people that are making content on that term as well. But that tool is TubeBuddy. You can install it, without giving me an affiliate commission. That's fine. Just go to TubeBuddy.com. But if you do want to, hook me up, then you can do so by putting the /Nimmin, my last name, at the end. Okay, so now we have Answer the Public. This one's free, and you can use Answer the Public. And with Answer the Public, you get 3 queries per day. So when you're using Answer the Public, you have to make sure that you are being very intentional, unless you are like, okay, hey, and I'm just gonna pay for this, so I can just sit here and just give it ideas all day long, right? But here, what I'm going to do, since we are going with the guitar one that we talked about earlier, I'm just going to type in guitar, and then I'm going to hit search. And again, this one's free for 3 different queries. So you just got to make sure that you're being very mindful about what it is that you're doing here. But you can see here, and I'll just zoom in on this because you can't see a lot of detail there. But one of the things that they show is you can see here how guitar pedal circuits work, how guitar chords are built, how guitar strings are made, how guitar chords work. If we scroll down here, where guitar music, where guitar chords, where guitar chord string attached, what guitar chords does Slash play, right? From Guns N' Roses. What guitar chord is this? What guitar string should I get? What guitar string should I buy? So here's another tip. If you are somebody that is making content on anything to where you are showing people how to do different things, like in this guitar example, if you're teaching people how to make guitar, and really quick, I want to let you know, if you're just joining us, that we are going to be doing a Q&A here in just a few minutes. So hang tight on that if you have any questions about any of the stuff that I'm talking about here. But when it comes to the truth guitar method, how we were talking about, doing this stuff around guitar, in this situation, if Truth Guitar Method was trying to generate some additional income from their YouTube channel, then they could also have guitar strings available as an affiliate in their description of a video about what guitar strings should I buy. And in that particular video, it would be, what guitar strings should I buy, or best guitar strings for electric guitars in 2021, right? If people are looking for that. And then within that, because the people that are looking for that are probably going to have the intention of possibly making a purchase if you show them some really good information about those guitar strings. So what you can do is you can use a video like this to also generate more income from your YouTube channel as well through the video content that you make, or if you're going to do it as a live stream, where you have an entire live stream in this example to where you're just showing people all the different guitar strings and the pluses and minuses of each one. Maybe you have different guitars if you're somebody that teaches people about guitar. Maybe you have, different guitars stringed with different strings, and you are, switching between guitars and you're showing people the differences and talking about how they feel and all of that. And then you have those affiliate links in your description where you can drive people down there to purchase whichever strings it is that they are interested in getting. Same exact thing with, guitar pedals and anything else, related to guitar. But with Answer the Public, hey, Charlene. Hey, John, what's up, man? But when it comes to, Answer the Public, they give you some really cool information here that Google doesn't show you unless you dig around a lot. So one thing that you can do as part of your workflow for coming up with unlimited video ideas is you can go to YouTube Autocomplete, like I was showing you before, and Google, and then you can put those down on a list, and then you can come here and you can start typing in some of those into this, and then start, just get an overview of it and say, okay, people are looking for it around this. People are asking these particular questions. So this shows me that across the board, this particular thing is something that people are generally interested in. So I'm definitely going to make a video about this, or I'm just going to take the stemmed approach and I'm going to make a video about all of these things, so that whenever somebody searches for any of this stuff, that my channel is going to be in there somewhere. I might be at the top of search, I might be at the bottom, but I'm going to be in there somewhere. They're gonna run into me eventually because I'm making content on all of these different things, right? But the same exact thing goes if we go back. By the way, you can also click on the data option here, and then they show you, just a better looking. I think this display, the visualization looks better. But if you just want it to be easier to read, where you don't have to sit sideways, where you don't have to sit sideways in order to read it, then if you just look at the data, then this also just gives you similar information as well. So, but that is called AnswerThePublic.com. Now, another place that you can also use to do this type of thing, especially when it comes to YouTube. So if you're making video content and you are live streaming for YouTube or for Facebook or anything like that, it's really important, of course, to make sure that you're making content around things that people care about. So for example, I researched on this and I was like, okay, people are looking for content ideas. Normally, if I talk about content ideas, I'll just make it around video content, right? But I was like, hey, we're doing this on the StreamYard content, because I know a lot of marketers watch this channel as well. So I'm like, hey, let's make it about content, because, a lot of people here probably, they got blogs or they have blogs for their teams. They're probably making videos. They're probably doing live streams. They're probably doing all of it. So because of that, I just wanted to frame the whole thing around content. But before I did that, I made sure that people are looking around for content ideas, right? So that helped me be able to find the idea for this particular live stream as well. But another thing that is also advantageous when it comes to coming up with ideas, and this is two that I'm putting into one, but it's using social media in general to tap into communities around things that you care about. So for example, if in this guitar situation that we were talking about before, hold on, I'm finding the name again. I apologize for losing it here. Truth Guitar Method. So like in the situation of Truth Guitar Method, one thing that they can do is they can go in, they can join every Facebook group they can find about playing instruments, about playing guitar, about playing acoustic guitar, electric guitar. And what they can do is they can just go in every day, or when they're just looking around for different video ideas and they're putting their plan together, they can go in and they can just start looking through the comments. They don't even have to participate if they don't want to, but by looking at the comments, seeing all the different questions that people have, that's going to lead them into like, hey, these are a bunch of different, videos that I can make based on just the questions that people have about, these different instruments or guitar, because how people are looking for all this on YouTube and they're looking for it on Google, and you can see the trends data and all of that, like we were showing before. This is also something to where you can just get direct human to human, like, hey, as a human being, we've got like 10 people in here that have been asking this question about, this particular thing with guitars. So I'm going to make a video about it. And not only am I going to make a video about it, but now that I have proof in this Facebook group that people are looking for this, I can hit up a mod of that Facebook group and say, hey, I noticed 10 different people in here were asking this question. Do you mind if I share my video in here as a comment, or, you can pin it because a lot of people had this question, and possibly don't spam it, but possibly share your video in there with mod permission first as a solution to a common question in that group, which can then help you get traffic to your video or live stream or your blog if you put it together as a written article. But the same thing applies to Reddit communities as well. Reddit is great for, you can just put in a question, hey, what are your questions about playing guitar? Or what are your questions about guitars? Or what are your questions about acoustic guitars? Or what are your questions about electric guitars or guitar pedals or whatever it is? And people are just going to give you, a bunch of things. Or you can make a statement about guitars or guitar pedals, and then people come in there and combat you with their opinions on that particular statement. And you can use that as food, so to speak, for your brain on what ideas to make videos about. Use it as inspiration. So the other one, number 10 here, is real life. Like if you are doing anything, there's going to be a magazine about it or some type of, resource about it. Even if it's, websites or, blogs or anything like that, there's going to be resources around what it is that you're doing. It doesn't matter if you're playing games, if you're doing art, if you are marketing, if you are talking about fishing, kayaking, like it doesn't matter. There's going to be resources or places that talk about that stuff. So one thing that you can also do is you can use like a magazine rack at a local grocery store, at a bookstore, or websites around the topics that you create, and go and look at those and go and look at the articles that they have. And when you're looking at the articles, two approaches that you can take. One, in this guitar example, you could just pick up guitar magazines and be like, hey, these are, different things that they're talking about in the guitar magazines. This guitar magazine's been around for, decades. So because of that, they've been coming up with ideas for a long time. Let me just dig into this and see the stuff that they're making about the research that they've done about the things that people care about around guitar and make videos like that. But another approach that you can take is you can open up a magazine about something that you're not even interested in. And then you can look at it through a different lens to where you can say, okay, this particular topic right here that that this headline that this magazine is talking about, is there a way that I could make this about guitar? This little list over here that this magazine has about these tips of things to avoid, is there a way that I can make that about, guitar? If it's a food magazine and you're making videos about guitars, that list of, these are, 5, high carb meals that you should avoid, look at that and be like, hey, these are 5 methods that you should avoid when learning how to play guitar, right? Bam, video idea. So the idea is to look in your own industry and look outside of your industry, but look at how they're putting things together and just think, what it is that I'm doing, how can I apply that to how they're, structuring some of the titles and some of the topics that they're talking about through the different things that they're doing through these different industries as well. So just to recap those for all of those of you that are just joining, what we are talking about today is how to come up with unlimited video ideas for video, or unlimited ideas for content, for videos, for live streams, for blogs, whatever it is that you're doing to get content out there. If you didn't watch the front part, you definitely want to, because a lot of good information shared there. But the things that we talked about in detail is we were talking about YouTube search and how to use that in a bunch of different ways. We're talking about Google search. We're talking about Google Trends and how to look for trending topics and make sure that you're using language in the way that people are looking for your content. Your own comments and community posts of competitors, people who are asking their communities questions. Keywords everywhere is a tool that you can use to help. TubeBuddy is a tool that you can use to help. Answer the Public is a tool that you can use to help. Facebook groups and Reddit communities, and magazine racks or websites, magazine racks at your bookstore or grocery store, and of course, websites around your industry. Jelly Payne, thumbs up, thank you. Yeah, and give the stream a like if you haven't yet, by the way, if you're enjoying this information. So what we're going to do now is we are going to jump into a Q&A. So if you have any questions about any of the stuff that I was talking about here or how it might apply to your YouTube channel, now's the time to ask. So I'm just going to keep an eye on the questions here, and as the questions come in, then I'll pull them up. Great question right here. Shadow Ranger Gaming says, what about gaming? I figured that was going to be coming. So the same exact thing applies to gaming right here. See, let's do Call of Duty, right? So here we see all the different Call of Duties, And then here we have Call of Duty account, Call of Duty app, Call of Duty account linking, age ranking, Advanced Warfare Zombies, APK. And then we have B, Cold War Zombies. Let's do How to Call of Duty. How to Call of Duty. Mobile Zombies Warzone on PZ, Hack, Slide in Real Life, Cold War for free on PC, how to create a Call of Duty account, how to download Call of Duty APK, how to link Call of Duty and Twitch, how to download Call of Duty Android. B, how to download Call of Duty Black Ops, how to call Call of Duty Black Ops 3 multiplayer, and so on. But here's something to think about. If you're doing gaming content, one of the things that you want to think about is typically, not always, but in most cases, gamers that succeed on YouTube, especially these days when you're first getting started, you want to mix. Like, let's say you're doing Let's Plays. You're like, hey, I just want to play the game. That's cool. Play the game. But you also need doorway content that's going to continuously lead people into your YouTube channel that you can then expose to your gameplay. So one of the ways that you can do that is by making content that people are actively looking for. You know, we call it help content, and you make that content that people are actively looking for, so you can use that as a way for people to discover your content. Because if you're a gamer, really good chance, you know, if you are just getting started, you're not getting a lot of activity yet. But one way that you can increase the amount of activity that you're getting on your YouTube channel, and you can start to see some consistency, is to put out help content on a regular basis along with your normal gameplay content if you are doing gameplays. Now, the channels that typically get off to a great start are channels that focus on like guides and how-tos and things like that. So if we were doing, let's see here, let's do Fortnite guides. Fortnite guides to get better, right? Fortnite guides 2021, Fortnite guide for beginners. You know, like that kind of thing. Fortnite guides and tips, Fortnite Pro guides and tips, Pro guides, Fortnite aim, whatever that is, Fortnite game, Pro game, guides, all skins. But, you know, as you go through this list, then you're going to start Fortnite building guides. So you can start to, you know, uncover different things that people are looking for around your game. Hey, what's up, Renee? Hope you're doing great, man. Okay, so let's see here. The next question that we have here, let's see, says Valerie, or no problem, thumbs up, post like the magazine idea. We are here for the Q&A. Are giveaways a good way to grow a small stream? I would not do giveaways. Like, my perspective on giveaways is that if you're doing a giveaway, you should be doing a giveaway to give and not to get. And I know that sounds a little bit weird, but the reason that I believe that way is because if you're doing a giveaway, because it's like, hey, I just crossed like 50,000 subscribers. This is going great. Thank you for, you know, interacting with my content, because, you know, you have been a supporter. I'm like giving this thing away. All you have to do to enter is XYZ, right? So that's one approach. But the other approach, if you're doing it for the sake of growing, I think that one's a little bit weird. And the reason for that is because if you're doing a giveaway for the sake of growing, you're going to have a lot of people that are going to come in that are interested in the giveaway and not your content. So because of that, they're going to be there for the thing and not for you. And ultimately, if you want to grow your YouTube channel the right way, you need people to be there for you and for the content that you're putting out, so that when you stop doing giveaways or when you're not doing a giveaway, people are still interacting with the regular content that you put out. Okay. So because of that, I would avoid giveaways as much as you possibly can. I actually know somebody, they grew their channel to like 30,000 subscribers just doing giveaways. And what ended up happening is they stopped doing giveaways. And when they stopped doing giveaways for the next 2 years, their channel was in the negative every single day for subscriber counts, because they were still uploading, they were still publishing content, but people are like, hey, they're not doing giveaways anymore. We're out of here. We're out of here. And for 2 years straight, they were in the red every single day. So just keep that in mind when it comes to giveaways. Let's see here. Question, is it better to stream or record for a new channel? So it depends on what it is that you're doing. So if you're doing content, and let's say that you are search targeting that content, then in that case, I would recommend that you do video content for the sake of getting consistent traffic coming in. But then do live streaming content for the sake of connecting with your community, because live streaming is extremely valuable when it comes to just connecting with your community. You can only do so much in a comment section, but when you can actually talk to people like I'm doing with you right now, totally different thing. So because of that, I would do video content for the sake of, you know, just having consistent traffic coming into the channel on a regular basis. You can do that with streams as well, but your streams have got to be really on point. If you can put together a really on point stream to where it seems like a video experience, then in that case, go ahead and, you know, you can just do the lives if you want. But I personally, starting a new channel, I would recommend that you do video content as the primary and then do the live streaming as a way to connect with your audience. So maybe you do like a weekly or bi-weekly live stream, and then you do, a weekly or twice a week video content. Let's see here. Question. A really niche channel, how would you suggest in expanding the topics to interest more viewers? So if you have a niche channel and you're trying to expand the topics, then you can use what it was, all the stuff that I was talking about today to try to figure out different things that people are looking for. Now, I just showed you 10 different ways over the course of, like an hour-long live stream, but you can literally sit down. If you spend like a couple of hours doing this yourself and it's all targeted towards the type of content that you make, you would just like, I encourage everybody here to do it because you'll be able to create so many awesome video ideas. Some of them are going to be really niche specific, other than like some other ones are going to be really broad. And by doing that, you're going to create some stuff that is just a laser fit for the people that you're trying to reach, and some stuff that's going to give you little growth spurts because it is going to be a little bit more broad. So if you do have, really niche content, just thinking of anything that crosses over, thinking of any ways that your content intertwines with pop culture is another thing if you really want to go general. Also thinking of, like, hey, if I'm looking for like the YouTube autocomplete, and I'm trying to figure out the ways that people are looking for things there, then let me also go over to Google Trends and make sure that anything that I'm going to be making videos about is going to be trending up instead of trending down or stagnant. And then that way you're at least catching things when the interest is climbing on it as well, which will help you tap into more traffic in general, also in your YouTube channel. Let's see here. When I do Christian keyword search, the results are not good, but some channels do well. Any tips? I came in late, so I apologize if this is a repeat. Hey, no problem. So when you do Christian keyword research, the results are not good. So I would love to have like a phrase of what it is that you might be going after. So if we take the Christian approach and I'm just going to put in Bible because that's the only thing that I can think of off the top of my head without naming, deities and all that good stuff. So if we do like Bible, then, we have people looking for Bible verses about playing music, Bible verses of the day. And then we do the same exact thing. A, B, C, let's just do Bible verses for fun. Bible verses about all of these different things. Bible verses about, Bible verses before bed, background by topic, birthday, Bible verses comfort, confidence, children, coloring pages, Catholic about courage, calligraphy, interest is cute. But basically, same exact thing applies. And I just use the Bible one just because I don't have additional context, but, it's not a repeat, and it's great that you ask this question, but the same exact things apply. You just have to, in some cases, like if you are like, hey, I'm just talking about, like Bible verses, right? So how far outside of that can I get? Then, start digging into, like Bible verses, like in this example, and just start trying to think of, people looking for Bible verses in a bunch of different ways to, help them, I wouldn't necessarily say solve problems, but, to help them see things, in a different way with the problems that they are facing. Let's see here. The Artist Haven. Wow. Prozzy says, why shorts are not getting equal attention for all the posts. In other words, why are all shorts not getting equal opportunity, even though the next contents are better? So on YouTube, everything is based on response. So when it comes to YouTube shorts, those are based on response, just like the video content is, just like the live streaming content is. So if you are putting out shorts and people are not responding to them competitively compared to the other shorts that are out there, then yours are going to be deprioritized, and the ones that are performing the best are going to end up being prioritized over yours. So because of that, it's just that you're not able to get the same response that other people that are also uploading shorts are able to get. What would be strong dating, relationship, or marriage content? So right out of the gate, let's just go to dating tips. We've got dating tips for women, dating tips for men, for shy guys, for introverts. Hold on, dating. Yeah, okay. We've got dating tips, and then we start going A, dating tips and tricks and advice after date, after 50, after 40, after 60. B, Bumble, book, dating tips book. Yeah, it probably wouldn't be, but you could do dating tips books, right? Like, 3 dating tips books that every single person needs to read or something like that. Dating tips BuzzFeed, dating tips to be confident. Let's do dating tips. Let's see here. Best dating apps. Yeah, best dating apps. Who doesn't want to see that one, right? Let's just jump over here. 40 format for best dating for professional, dating for seniors, like that kind of stuff. Relationships. To do relationship advice for women, Reddit for men, podcasts. So you could do relationship advice podcasts, a video about podcasts that people could be listening to for relationship advice, a video about or a live stream about YouTube channels that give that type of advice that they can listen to. Let's see here, relationship advice for couples. Let's see here, during COVID, Discord server, interesting. During a lockdown, during pregnancy. Oh, it's relationship advice. Okay, there we go. I was thinking dating. I was like, dating advice during pregnancy. That seems a little bit weird to me. But okay, yeah, we got that one taken care of. But basically, same exact thing applies. You start going through. So let's say relationship advice for beginners, right? Just for fun, for people that are just starting out. We're going to put that in. And then using some of the other tips that I was giving earlier, we're going to see here that Keywords Everywhere is giving us some different things people are looking for and how to be patient at the beginning of a relationship, beginning of a relationship anxiety, how to start a relationship with a woman, how to start a relationship slowly, relationship advice for couples, how to talk about starting a relationship, how should you feel about the beginning of a relationship, beginning of relationship anxiety. Okay, we've got some of those are repeats. How to get relationship advice, how to give relationship advice. If we scroll down here, other ways that people might be looking for that, how to be patient, beginning of relationship anxiety, some of the stuff that was repeated up there. But yeah, so, using that same exact information, and you can apply that to YouTube. You can also apply that to trends as well to, start uncovering that around relationship advice also. Rich Moore says, you need to stream at 1080p or will 720 suffice for most needs, Facebook and YouTube? 720 will do the trick for most of it. The reason that I tried to stream at a higher frame size when possible is because I know some people are also watching on TVs and that kind of stuff. So because of that, I try to, stream at a larger size when possible. Plus, if you stream at a larger size, when it's shrank down for mobile users, it's also going to be a little bit more crisp and all that stuff as well. So it just gives, it's just more pixels to work with. And then when they compress it down, then it just makes for like a night, just like a better looking stream also. So, 720, it'll definitely do the trick, especially if your internet is not the best, then in that case, your, 720, it's perfectly okay. But I would go at a higher frame size when possible. Let's see here. And a question, what would be solid dating advice for content creators is just, make sure that you're being clear with your significant other. If you're talking about, just dating advice for, like, if you're a content creator and you're like dating people, or you're trying to get into a relationship, just being completely transparent with what it is that you do, what it is that your goals are for it, because some people will see it as like, hey, that's awesome. Other people see it as like, that's a little bit like unstable or whatever. So if you think that the person that you're dating might have that type of, approach or look to it, then I would find as many references online that you can show them about people that, do succeed with it. I wouldn't use extreme examples like PewDiePie or Ryan's Toy World or anything like that. I would find more, easily to attain examples of, successful people on YouTube so that you could, use that as or content, wherever it is you're making your content, so you can use that as the thing that you're like, yeah, but, these people did this and this and this and this, and I believe that I would be, that I can do it as well. But also let them know that, hey, when I'm working, but, it's also advantageous for me to be on social media on a regular basis. So I'm, of course, going to block off our time. This is what I do, is I block off our time, and I have my time to where, when I'm done for the day, I put my phone down and I don't look at it the rest of the night until the next day. And I do that because it's a tendency for me, because I am somebody that does social media. So it's a tendency for me to, open Twitter. And if somebody has a question, then it's like, oh, great. Now I'm going to go upstairs. I'm going to end up making a video showing people, like last night. I had somebody reach out to me on Twitter that I had previously mentioned that I would, help them with lighting, and I just didn't get to it. And they sent me a message, and because I get a lot of DMs on Twitter, I was like, hey, what's your question? And then they're like, yeah, you told me you would help me. So I'm like, so I ran upstairs, and then I literally like shot some videos on my phone and stuff, explaining some things through the questions that they had, and it ended up being like this, additional thing. But when I put my phone down, then that, that's kind of like my, okay, that stuff's over for the day. Now I dedicate this time to, to the person that I'm with. To my lady. Okay, let's see here. So let's see here. For example, can women preach? TubeBuddy results are not well. So here's something that you want to make sure that you're keeping in mind. TubeBuddy results, those are like if you're talking about the score in TubeBuddy, the thing to keep in mind is that's giving you a number based on search, right? That's giving you a number based on search. That does not mean that people will not click on that video on a homepage. That does not mean that people will not click on that video if it gets suggested to them next to other content. It does not mean that you're not going to be able to drive traffic to that video from other videos of yours, anything like that. That is strictly search. So because of that, don't always look at like, oh, hey, if it doesn't say 100, then, or if it doesn't say 90, then I'm not going to make that video. Don't look at it from that perspective. Look at it from the perspective of, if I want to show up in search, this is saying that I have, a pretty good chance, but it's still not guaranteeing because the search is based on your video performance. So even if you have all of the right stuff and TubeBuddy gives you a 100% score, that still doesn't mean that you're going to show up in search. It just means that you're optimized for it. The opportunity is there. The rest is up to you in terms of, your thumbnail that you put together, the specific title you choose, and how the thumbnail and title work together as a team to be compelling enough to cause somebody to click on yours. Once they do click on yours, how long are they watching it for? Do they further engage in your content? Do they subscribe? Do they like it? Do they comment? Do they share it? All of those things add up to if you're going to end up continually showing up in search or not. Let's see here. What would be a good way to repurpose gaming live streams? So cutting out clips. Clips is a great way to repurpose live streams in any capacity. So I have a clips channel. I've been having some verification issues with my identity. Actually, when I log into that account, it keeps putting me in these loops, and I had it fixed for a little bit and then now it's doing it again. But I have a clips channel as well so that I can take out, highlights from my live streams. And I've got so many clips stacked up, but I just need to continually get access so I can keep them uploading into there. Let's see here. You just did a video on getting views on videos. How would you suggest getting the average view duration up on lives, especially the replay, now that we have got great content ideas? Okay, so on the replay, the best way to work it out is to format your live stream like it's a piece of video content. So there's two different approaches that you can take with your live streams. There's the live stream approach where you are where you need to be there for the live streaming experience, right? To where you can still get value on the replay, but the real juice is in the live stream experience, right? So my Nimmin Live, since you watch my channel, Nimmin Live is that approach to where it's like, hey, this is more of a live experience. Sure, you can watch it on the replay, get tons of value from it on the replay, but it's really something that it's best. It's best when you can actually participate, ask questions, get your questions answered, all of that good stuff. But if I was like, hey, I'm going to make a live stream that's going to be like a traffic driver to my channel, then what I would do is I would put together a piece of actual training content where kind of like this, to where I take people through, specific steps of things and I show people specific details of things. And it's not just a hangout and I'm answering questions. It's literally a training. Like by the time you're done with this stream, you're going to know how to do X, Y, Z. So the people that start that stream, if they're interested in figuring out how to do X, Y, Z, then by the time they're done with it, then they're like, as they're going through it, they know they're getting closer. And then by the time they're done with it, then they know how to do the thing. So in your case, what I would do is I would say, okay, I'm going to take the approach, if you're trying to get that replay value higher, then I'm going to take the approach of making a live video. So instead of thinking like, hey, I'm going to live stream and I'm just going to be like hanging out, take it from the approach of, okay, I'm going to make a live video that's going to be at the front end, but then the back end's going to be a Q&A so that you don't have to be a part of the live stream in order to get the actual core value out of the piece of content that I'm putting out. So that what that means is when the live stream starts, you're adding a hook just like you would do in your video content, and then you start getting into the content and everything is structured and it has kind of a flow to it instead of it being a little bit messy like typical Hangout streams are. Let's see here. Even most views are not monetized. I make live gaming show type of thing where I play newer games, don't really know what to do when there isn't a new game that's out. Any advice? Pick something popular. So pick something popular. So if you play newer games and you are just trying to stay on the curve of newer games, one, I would reach out to indie developers because then they can pipeline you, a bunch of, indie games all the time. But two, I would just lean on something popular. So if you have videos on your channel that have done exceptionally better than the other videos, even if they were new games, then, or live streams, whichever one you're doing, then in that case, I would just make more content about those. Even though they might not be brand new anymore, they're still new to people that might be looking around for information on those, which can then lead people to your channel, where then you can later expose them to more content about newer games on your channel. Let's see here. See if I've missed anything as I'm just scrolling down the page here. We got that. See, I love watching compilation bloopers and cutouts. Yeah, this is good too. Yeah, so the J-Vlog says they love watching compilations, bloopers, and cutouts. That's good for live stream content as well. For, repurposing some of that, especially in the gaming world. It can be like hey, these are all the car crashes. These are all the things where, I blew up, as I was trying to attempt something. These are all the, the takes of me trying to accomplish X, Y, Z and failing. And then you finally get it at the end, like that kind of stuff. Let's see here. American English Disguise says, spend hours every week watching the Nimmin live replay while I work out. No lie, missing it this week. Yeah, man, with the internet being down, you're not the only one. It's offset my entire existence because my brain kind of resets my week around that Saturday live stream. So the fact that it didn't happen in my brain, it's just kind of like I'm in this like weird space right now. And I'll reset once this next Saturday comes along. But yeah, for the last stream, I was like, oh my God, like what's going on? I'm still mentally, dealing with that. It's funny. Let's see here. Sometimes listen to replays when I go walking instead of a podcast. Nice. Yeah, so for those of you that listen on the replay, just as a heads up, so I started, if you go to nimminlivepodcast.com, so I've got everything set up. I just haven't actually loaded any episodes in, but I'm going to start releasing them on delay there. So for those of you that that do watch Nimmin Live on the replay, if you want, that's going to be available as audio only in the near future. So just as a heads up. So you can just check on that from time to time. If you go to Nimmin Live Podcast, like the placeholders there, I just haven't actually started uploading it yet and getting it approved at all the different, download locations and all that. Let's see here. I thought about baking brownies or cookies live. Do you think that would be a good idea? Any other suggestions? I've never did a live stream before. So technically, there could be, depending on how you put that stream together, there could be a lot of hurdles that you might need to overcome in terms of just wait time. So for example, if you're making brownies, there's the prep process and all of that, but then you also have the, hey, I'm putting this in the oven. What do I do now? So on news shows and things like that on TV, one of the things that they do is they have it to where when they put it in the oven, they have another version that is coming out of the oven that's ready to rock and roll so that you don't have that dead time. So what I would do is I would try to emulate the structure that they do on some of the like morning shows and things like that when they have guests come on and show them how to make things. I would try to emulate that structure in terms of how you put it together, in terms of camera angles. Like I've got my front view like this. I've also got a top-down shot that shows the table and all of that. And then I'm switching back and forth based on, whatever it is that I'm talking about. And I would take them through that journey that way. But definitely something to experiment with. Let's Get Clacking says they balanced it out in the universe as they did their first live stream on Saturday. High five and fist bump to you for getting that first one out of the way. It's all downhill now. That first one is always the toughest, right? Because it's like, oh man, what if something goes wrong? What if people come in and I say something stupid, right? But you got it out of the way now. So now it'll be easy from this point forward. Easier from this point forward. Okay. Should I delete a video not related to my niche, even if it gets most viewed and not monetized? I do interior design and the vid is on Google. So I would, and the reason that I would, of course, do your thing. Like if you're like, hey, I just want the views coming in, then that's fine if you're making money from it. But if you are not, then one thing to consider when it comes to YouTube is if you have an entire channel about interior design, but you're growing your channel based on Google, then in terms of people coming there for information about Google, then you are basically drawing in the wrong audience to give the content that you're actually making on your channel. So because of that, yes, if it was my channel, I would take down the content that doesn't fit into the goals that I have for the channel and the people that I'm actually trying to reach with the channel now. Let's see here. Zage Zealot says advantages of using StreamYard over OBS. One, just as a heads up, you can use them together. But two is that OBS can be taxing on a computer. OBS has updates that you put in from time to time, and things can just go wrong. Relatively easy with OBS. We used it for a really long time. We used OBS, and it's great. I'm not knocking OBS in any way. Streamlabs OBS is also awesome. However, it's in the same category to where they push an update or Windows updates or something like that, and then all of a sudden you start having all these issues with the software. It ends up grinding to a halt. your graphics card, you didn't update your driver, and because of that, it's not interacting with the software properly, and everything slows down to it like a sludge, so to speak. With StreamYard, you don't have issues like that. So they do all of the heavy lifting for you in the cloud. So all you have to do is connect your equipment to your computer, and then you push that signal through just like it's a webcam, and then Streamlabs does all of the stuff, StreamYard does all of the stuff in the cloud. So for example, you can also switch scenes up, like, when I had this in here, but one of the things that you can do, let me see the different views that I might be able to do with that particular screen share. Yeah, but you can move things around, if you want to here with that as well. You can also do cool stuff like, and these are from my set, not from the StreamYard room, but you can see here I got the watermark up there in the top. I can bring in different graphics and that type of thing into the stream if I want. Of course, I had to make these graphics, but I can bring those into the stream if I want. Let people know there's links and descriptions, that kind of stuff. You can also play videos directly through here. In addition to that, another thing that's really cool about StreamYard is it's super easy to bring other people into your stream as well. So if you want to have other guests come on, you literally just click you click one button that says invite. I'm going to do it right now. And then you click copy to clipboard, and then you send that to whoever you want, and then they can come into your stream and hang out. It's awesome. And in addition to that, they multicast, which means you can stream to YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, LinkedIn all at the same time. And you can collect all of the comments from all of those platforms as they're coming in into StreamYard. So you just have that one panel to look at instead of having, great, now I got to keep track of LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. I got to keep track of all this stuff. You can just do it all in one panel with your comments. But keep in mind, if you are multicasting to Twitch, you are not allowed to do that as a Twitch affiliate. So just as a heads up there. Viper Sports says, how are you using camera? So the camera here, this is just a camera, it's plugged in. These are all switching through, there we go, through this device that I have here. So I have an ATEM Mini Pro ISO and an ATEM Mini. I got the Mini first, but basically this allows me to add additional cameras, but the ISO allows me to record all the different cameras at one time. But basically all I do is I just press the buttons here, and then that allows me, you might be able to see it. No, you can't see it there. But basically I press the buttons here, or I just run the macro and it'll switch automatically. But I press the buttons here to switch to whatever camera it is that I want to switch to. Yes, and James Myers, thank you for that. You can also record videos on StreamYard without going live. And for the person earlier that was talking about repurposing content from your live streams, StreamYard also records your entire live stream as well. So like, on Nimmin Live, I'll go live there for 3 to 4 hours at a time, and it records the entire session. And then after the stream, I can download it if I want to, and then I can send that over to the editor that cuts everything up for the clips channel, and then he can take care of that, right? But I can also download the audio directly, which how I mentioned before that I'm doing the podcast for Nimmin Live. I'm actually taking the audio directly out of StreamYard, and that's what's going to be going up to for that podcast also. All right, guys, so I'm going to go ahead and head off. I was only supposed to be on here for an hour, and I know that they have another live stream scheduled for today as well, or I think they do, and I don't want to step on that person's toes, so I'm going to go ahead and head off of here. So again, I just want to, just thank you for hanging out in the stream today. I hope that you learned something. If anybody has any questions about, any of the things that I talked about here, definitely, you can feel free to leave a comment here, or if you go to the StreamYard community on Facebook, if you just land on Facebook, you look for StreamYard community, then they have a community forum there as well, where you can participate, ask questions about anything that we talked about here in the stream as well. And either myself or, somebody else on the team will come in and answer that question for you. Most likely it'll be me though. And really quick before I go, Rich says, you're using the ATEM Mini and not a Stream Deck. Which works best with StreamYard? So the ATEM Mini works best with StreamYard because all of the cameras are plugged into the ATEM Mini. So I have all the HDMI signals running into the ATEM Mini. So basically this camera, the HDMI is coming out of that, plugging into this. The camera up here, coming out of that, plugging into this. This camera coming out, plug it into this. So they all plug into the ATEM Minis. And with Stream Deck, you can't actually plug the cameras into there. The only thing the Stream Deck can do is switch. But in StreamYard, you can use a Stream Deck, but it's a complicated process, but you can do it. And I think they're actually working on a fix for that right now. But the thing with the ATEM Mini is it's just a different type of device. So the Stream Deck is great for switching. I also have a loop deck. I don't know if you can see this or not, but these are These are also cool, but this is called a loop deck. And this is great for like video editing and things like that. But you can also hook this up if you want to control live streams as well. So, you know, a lot of different hardware options out there for you. But the ATEM Mini will allow you to just plug the cameras into it. Each one holds up to 4 cameras. They have the Extreme Pro. I'm sorry, the ATEM Mini Pro Extreme and Extreme ISO, which allows you to load 8 cameras into it. But the way that I'm doing it here with 2 different ATEM Minis is it gives me the ability to have 7 cameras, so I can pull the feed from the other one as well. So it just gives me, you know, that option also. All right, so again, thank you everybody for hanging out in the stream. I hope that you learned something today about, you know, coming up with unlimited video ideas for your content. Thank you so much for hanging out in the stream today. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up, or this live stream a thumbs up on the way out. Thank you for your time, and I will see you next time.